Hello and welcome to Rise Above the Grind. I am your hostess, the Consultress, bringing you amazing conversations with awesome entrepreneurs who are pushing the edge of what is possible in today's new normal because nothing's going back to normal. Everything is up for review and new. And Andrea has 40 years experience in the real estate investment game. And so we're here to learn from her about what the grind means specifically in the real estate investment business and what to do about it if we're faced with similar challenges in our businesses. So, Andrea, thanks for being on the show. How are you today?
I'm doing great, and thank you for inviting me. When you ask me what the grind is, I'm never quite sure what to answer. So, I think the worst part for me, and everyone is different, and everything in real estate is it depends anyway. So, for me, the worst part is taxes, utilities, and yeah, insurance. Those are like the bane of my existence. Since I no longer manage the operations side of the house, I just have to manage those three pieces. And there's hundreds of units. It's a very um, time wasting in my view.
So, what I heard you say so far is when you ask me about the grind, I don't know, but I know what sucks. So, I'm pulling the analogy out. Like when you're hearing grind, you're hearing like, oh, this is what sucks about it. And it's kind of a chore to get through. It might be a necessary, like you have to have insurance, you have to pay your utilities.
I'll
uh,
pay taxes. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, yep. So when you say this is the part of the business that I get to manage right now, open us up a little bit and tell us about the infrastructure and how what else you get to enjoy because this is the grind for you. What else do you do in your business role?
So I have three partners and they get to do all the operations except for those three pieces. And I'm very happy that I passed that off to them. So we manage and own hundreds of units and we do 20 rehabs a month. So we have a pretty active team. And that side of the business, aside from the three pieces I have to do, which is, by the way, going to a VA shortly now that I have plans in place. Some of it's already been moved because I want to get out of the grind. And what I really do is I go out across the country and I talk to people and I speak about real estate investing and I raise money for my company. I run a mentoring and coaching program where I help new investors with the steps they need to take to actually start running. And we are now starting a new program, which I'm very excited about because I'm working with Alissa, and it's a program for experienced investors. I've run a mastermind for 5 years with very experienced investors. These people know what they're doing, they have systems in place. And what I do is I meet a lot of people who buy property, they have no business acumen, no systems in place, they have no idea what they're doing. So, this new program, which I'm really excited about, is building a business, not just buying properties. And so,
So, question for you. I heard I have to do some of the things that suck, but I also get to go and, speak to the
yeah,
people, shake hands, kiss babies, the whole nine of networking, being visible, being seen. So, it sounds like you and correct me if I'm wrong because you come through the grind, you have these things that you must get done, and then you get to do the things that you love to do that help to develop the business and bring like you work on the top line. Is that right?
100%.
So
And
I hear this balance going on that you're not in the grind all the time.
I'm not in the grind all the time. And I have my VA working towards getting out of the grind 95% of the time. So I'll just be at the top of the mark once a month looking in. Um, But that took a little while because we did not have, I never did this side of the business at all. We removed a partner, so I got to inherit this side of the business and found that there weren't processes and procedures in place for it. Now there
Wow.
are very defined processes and procedures, and
So,
you pass
uh,
it off.
I love this because like there are people here in our live studio, and so I want to see a show of hands. How many of us grind until we get a system in place where the grind feels less grindified? I should see every single hand. Yeah, I do. I see every single hand going up back here because part of what that requires is to take a look at working on your business versus in your business. So I'm hearing this. There's a time and a place for working the grind in your business. And the more grind there is, the more opportunity you have to create systems and delegations that allow people who love that part, who it may not be tedious and monotonous tasks for. For example, my executive assistant, she loves being in the back office. She loves knitting together all of the systems and things, stuff that like shorts my circuits, honestly. And for me, it's a grind, but for her, it's a pleasure. And so I love what you've said about partnership easing the grind-defying nature that business can become if you're not careful. If you're not constantly looking for ways to improve, you're by default assigning yourself further and further grind along your path.
100%. And real estate is all about people, right? It's really not about properties. So, um, getting out of the grind and being where I need to be builds our business bigger and bigger every year. So that's the whole goal, to not be sitting in the middle of the mess.
Yeah, and that is so crucial when you're building business. This is one of those things that doesn't exist only in real estate investment business.
Not
It applies to business at large. Get yourself your team, build out from what you can do. Listen, there was a time in my life up until very recently, and I'm not shooting on myself here, but where technology kept improving. So I was able to go out and do more of what I loved, and it was new and exciting technologies where I could automate my CRM. I could build out my own back office and bookkeeping, but it was not yet at a level that was unruly. So I kept putting more and more hats on as I grew in my startup phase until eventually there were so many hats on the top of my head, they started to fall off and they started to cause me stress. And so I think noticing that point where you feel overwhelmed, and what I heard from you is like identify the right people and processes so that you can take it off your plate or simplify what you're doing. And maybe that's letting go of some responsibilities, letting go of some properties. Tell us a story about, ooh, there go my balloons. Tell us a story about how this has kind of showed up in your partnership. You said you had a couple of different transitions where you had to ebb and flow with your processes here. Tell us a time when you got a lot of grind and then you were able to systematize and simplify.
Yeah, so there's nothing in the business that I haven't done. When I brought partners on, which I absolutely love, I know some partnerships work, some don't. I have hundreds of them across the country for different things, and I really appreciate them. But my main partnership has taken a load off my plate. So I took a lot of the grind away, like the bookkeeping. I don't have to worry about numbers anymore. My CFO does that. I don't have to worry about contractors. We have somebody for that. There's somebody for everything. I just have a very limited scope now, which is a little more than I wanted. But as I said, I've put processes in place now so that, this is not going to take a whole lot of my time. In the
Mm.
next 2 months, I should be down to a couple hours a month and I'm done.
Yeah. And I heard the resilience in here. So you did have systems and simplification in place, and then your business changed. How many of us hit road bumps called pivots in our business, and then we have to re-innovate. We have to figure something else out, take on maybe a new role, and then again go look at how can I simplify, how can I systematize. So I love the antidote here that you're bringing to this conversation that you will have to give yourself time to grind away and do the things that must be done in business. It's kind of like one of those givens. When you're out here taking risks and creating value, you also must be accountable to, your team, to your processes, and to the things that must be done in order to keep your business working. But it's not a permanent state. So, Andrea, thank you so much for being here for this broadcast discussion. How can people find you if they want to learn more about you?
So you can just go on to LinkedIn. I'm Andrea Lane, the fearless real estate investor, the only one out there. So
That's right. She is one of a kind, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first. Or maybe you've heard it here a bunch of times. This isn't going to be the last time we hear from her, but thanks a million again. We are here for Rise Above the Grind. If you're listening to this on the broadcast, don't go away. We have another episode queued up right for you right after this. Now we will go to our studio audience.